Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic, and today I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I cannot be any more grateful. Yesterday, I talked about, when we're praying for God to move mountains, don't be surprised when He hands us a shovel. That shovel meaning that God expects a level of faith. Maybe not specifically the type of work that we have to put into it, but He wants us to have faith and demonstrate that faith. And I think it's very ironic that I did that monologue yesterday, and lo and behold, last night a mountain popped up for me. And it was interesting because I was able to go back to some of my monologues from over the last several days and listen to them. I was going, yeah, that's some good stuff, and I was able to apply that, and it worked for me. But today I want to talk about when we're facing that mountain and how that mountain can seem so overwhelming, just completely insurmountable. There are going to be periods in our sobriety, whether you're 1 month or 10 years, there's going to be periods throughout your sobriety where you're faced with this daunting task, and you have no idea how you're going to complete it. You have no idea how you're going to get over that mountain. You're going to get around that mountain. You just don't know how you're going to get through it. You have no clue. And that's where we pull out our foxhole prayers of God, just get me out of this, right? How many times will we do that? Well, I remember one mountain for me in particular was just the mountain of I can't stop drinking. I kind of wanted to stop drinking, but I just couldn't. And that felt like an insurmountable objective to try to achieve. Let me point this out, and this is one thing that I myself still have trouble with. Whenever we're facing that mountain, we're praying for God to make those miracles happen. It's easy. It's incredibly easy for us to think that God operates on our timetable. See, I mentioned it the other day. God owes us nothing. God owes us absolutely nothing. And He gives us time. He gives us our time, but He has His own time. It's His own time. And so when we're praying for God to move these mountains from in front of us or clear whatever obstacles may be in our path, when we're praying for that, we have to understand God's going to do it on His time, not our time. Again, God owes us nothing, but we owe Him everything. So it's easy for me, especially because I am impatient. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible with patience. It's easy for me to kind of like, well, God, I prayed for that last week. Why haven't you made that happen? Because God works on His time, not on my time. That's the first thing I want to point out. And the second thing that I think is important is God understands where we are at in our recovery. He understands maybe I'm so far along and I'm at this point in my recovery. I may be ready for some things. I may not be ready for other things. And that's fair. God knows a lot more about this stuff than I do, right? And so there are times, I mentioned this yesterday, how we'll sometimes try to sneak back behind that wheel, and we think we know where we're going. We'll try to drive our vehicle of life, and we end up right over in the ditch. But there are times when God understands where we are at in our recovery, and He knows what we need. He knows what He needs to let us know and what He doesn't need to let us know. And I like to think that there are times where that mountain seems so just daunting, so it's right in our face, to where we can't see anything around it. Just like my hand, you can't see anything around my hand, right? And I think God uses that to distract me. And what I mean by that is I think He allows me to see only that mountain. He can't let me peek around and peek over. He can't let me do that because he positions me to where that mountain is all that I see. So, well, yeah, while I see that mountain, I feel that it's daunting and it's, I don't have a chance at conquering this mountain. I believe He's doing that for a reason. I believe the reason is because He knows I'm not far enough along in my recovery to deal with what's going on behind the mountain. And so He's allowing that mountain to be a distraction for me to where I can't look around, I can't peek around, see what's going on behind it. Because it could very well be what's going on behind that mountain. While I'm looking at this problem that's in front of me right now, there may be other problems behind the scenes that I would flip out about. And I believe that He uses that as an ability to keep me from flipping out, because again, He knows where I'm at in my recovery. Those are a couple things that were on my heart this morning that I wanted to share. Again, God works on His timetable, not my timetable. He's going to move those mountains. But the last thing I want to touch on real quick is when God is behind the scenes, when He's behind that mountain that we're facing a mountain, He's behind a mountain, we're going, well, how the hell is this going to work? Keep this in mind. While you're being patient, and while you're focused on that mountain that's in front of you, all this stuff that's going on behind you that you'd flip out about, that I would flip out about, that's where God makes his miracles happen. So it's the parts that we can't see that are most interesting to me. And just like last night, I had a mountain pop up on me last night. And I went and ran. I did some reading, did some prayer meditation, and I was thinking, you know what, God, you're behind a mountain. I can't see what you're doing back there. And you know what? I don't need to see what you're doing. That's where faith comes into play, right? I don't need to see what you're doing, but I know a miracle is going to come out of this. And so I wanted to share those thoughts with you this morning. Be patient. I know it's hard to do sometimes, especially for me. A friend of mine I just advised several weeks back, to be patient. I told him to wait. He's probably cussing me right now, but be patient. It always works out, I promise you. And don't just because you're staring at the mountain, that's the only thing you can see, that doesn't mean the mountain is insurmountable. And just keep this in mind, God is behind the scenes. He could be behind that mountain, taking care of all the stuff that we would flip out about, we would stress out about even more, and end up driving our car back off into the ditch. So I wanted to share those thoughts with you. So with that being said, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I could not be any more appreciative. If there's a topic you'd like to have discussed, feel free to drop it into an email to me, Drew, D-R-E-W, at recoveryclassroom.org. I'll take a look at it, see what we can do. We'll be talking again soon. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.